Welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got the return of one of the favourite constructors that we've ever featured on the channel, Rocky Roa, the American maths teacher who has come up with the most extraordinary idea here. The testing reports on this are that it is just, well, it's sort of 10 out of 10 for originality and also a beautiful puzzle to solve. It's called SAT Sudoku, after the American exams. We do get SATs over here as well, I think now, but I've heard of them in the context of American exams. And apparently in an American exam, you get a series of questions. So in our exam here, we've got the questions 1 to 9, and then you get multiple choice answers, and you have to sort of shade in one of the options to be the correct one that you want to choose in pencil. Well, that's literally how this puzzle works. We basically have to decide which of these clues is the correct one, and the others must then be incorrect, and there are some consequences that follow from that. But not only is that sort of a beautiful sort of germ of an idea, but the way Rocky Roa has implemented this is extraordinary. If you just take a look at the questions in order, you can see the question 4, all of the answers are multiples of 4, and question 5, all of the possible answers are multiples of 5, etc. It's simply gorgeous. Yeah, and I'm looking forward very much, as you can probably tell, to trying it. But what do I need to tell you about before I read you the rules? I need to tell you about, we've just gone past the 1st of September, and that means if you're a patron of the channel, you should be trying Looney Tunes, our Looney Tunes Sudoku Hunt, which was released yesterday afternoon, has already garnered about 100 correct solutions, and a lot of positive feedback, which we're delighted by. And I think I should be saying congratulations as well to, I think, Eliza Persephone sent us... No, Emily Persephone. Emily, sorry, not Eliza, Emily Persephone, my bad. The first correct solution we received, so well done to Eliza. That was very fast indeed. Yeah, just try it out, you'll like it. And if you got stuck on last month's reward, the solution video for Heatwave by Grockles is out as well, so that's ready to view. Now the other thing I wanted to say is that I have tried at least to schedule the next episode of me attempting to complete The Witness. Several of you I know have been asking me when my journey through Witless that's a Freudian slip. Although I do feel witless quite often when I'm playing The Witness, it wasn't, I try not to be. So yeah, my journey through Witness Land will hopefully continue Sunday night UK time, 10 PM. So as many of you who'd like to watch that as possible, it would be lovely to have your company. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was that by the time this video goes live, we might be creeping over 390,000 subscribers, which is incredible. We are within touching distance, it seems, of 400,000 subscribers. So if you do watch the channel and you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing and let us get to that milestone. We would be most grateful, and it would, yeah, it will be an extraordinary thing if we ever get there. Now, all that said and done, let's get on to our SATs. What's this exam got in store for us? I'll read you the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. Each 3x3 box contains 4 ovals. Well, yeah, that is true. Exactly 1 oval is correct, i.e. every digit in the oval must appear somewhere in the surrounding 4 cells. Okay. The other 3 ovals are incorrect, i.e. no digit from an incorrect oval can appear in any of the 4 cells surrounding that oval. So let's take a look. I'm actually sure. Let's have a look at the 7 clue and ask what this means. So what this means is, let's look at the 21 clue here. That's saying that if this was correct, if the 21 clue was correct and one of the 4 oval clues must be correct, then there would have to be a 2 and a 1 in those 4 cells. If this is incorrect, then there couldn't be a 2 or a 1 in those 4 cells. I think that's what it's saying anyway. But do have a go. the way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. It's exam time. It's a while since I've done an exam. Let's get cracking. So, shall we start? Well, when I did exams, I always started with number 1. I'm going to start with number 1, and actually that looks like it might be sensible here because the number 1 is in an oval that contains the number 1, so that must mean that's a true clue, I think. Yeah, I suppose one way of thinking about this is if this clue was incorrect, then the rules are telling us that the number 1 in the oval could not appear in any of those 4 cells, and the number 1 clearly does appear, so this is correct. And the rest of the clues must therefore be wrong. And this provides a perfect opportunity for me to colour things in, I think. So I'm going to colour the correct clue, or the correct... I'll have to surround the correct oval. I'll use blue for that, because blue rhymes with true. And I'll use orange for false, because orange doesn't rhyme with false. There we go, that's logic for you. So let's just think about what this means. This means that in this box, I mean, basically the 1 clue has been used up, hasn't it? We already know that that's true, and it lives there. In the 7, okay, so we know the 7 in this box is not in that 2x2, because if it was, the 7 clue would also be true. And there's a 7 here, so there's a 7 horizontally in one of those 2 cells. I'm not sure if I can really use that until I've worked out what's true and what's false along the right hand side. But let's just carry on with this, because I can see with 3 can't go in those squares and it can't go in those squares, so 3 is vertical in one of these 2 cells. Now the other digit, the other digit is 4 that we've got in an oval. 4 can't go there, 4 can't go there, so we get another pencil mark for 4s. And we move on to number 2, probably. Number 2. Now, what? Yeah, okay. I don't know yet which is the true clue, but I know that is not the true clue because that's got a 2 and a 5 in it, and I can't put a 2 in one of the 4 cells. So that deserves to be orange as a result of its falsehoods. Now, what else do we know? Do we know anything? 4 is not there, but if the 49 clue was true, that would be saying 4 is in one of those cells. If it's false, we'd have a 4 in one of those 2 cells. Gosh, this is going to get really complicated. That is becoming apparent to me. 3. I don't know if I can do any more with this one, I'm afraid. I might be missing, I probably am missing several things. Anyway, I'm going to have to go on to question 3. Oh, 3. 3 is a bit like 1, look, that's easy. The 3 is in the 3 oval contains a 3 already, so that must be a true clue. So the other ones have all got to be false clues. Now, what does that mean? So that means 9 is not in those, so 9 is in one of 4 cells. Oh, 2 is restricted, because 2 can't be in the 2-7 clue, and 2 can't be in those cells, so 2 is vertical. 7, oh no, 7 is nearly interesting. It's in one of 3 cells. I'm going to pencil mark that, I think. Try and keep track of what's going on. I don't actually know if I can do anything else with that. This is a bit disconcerting. Let's go on to question 4. He says in a fit of dudgeon. Right, 4. The 24 clue must be wrong because you can't put a 4 in it, so those must be orange. Oh, I've got a 20 clue. I can't put 0 into this puzzle, so that they are also wrong. So what's that telling us? That's telling us I'm now interested in 1s actually. Because one of these clues, either the 1-2 clue or the 1-6 clue, is true, which means that it contains a 1. So there is a 1, in fact there's a 1 here as well. There's a 1 therefore in one of those cells. Now surely that means the 16, whoa, that was weird. Did the numbers all just... Oh, sorry. I thought the numbers all just changed size. That was really, really peculiar. It's like something out of a horror film. But I think my eyes were deceiving me. So there is a 1 in there. So doesn't that mean the 16 clue has to be correct? Because if it was wrong, then I shouldn't be putting a 1 in any of those 4 cells, and yet I am. So this is true. And that's going to be quite interesting for the 12 clue, I think. Which is now wrong, and therefore cannot contain a 1, so there is no 1 in those cells. So the 1 gets shifted over to the right-hand side. And that means 1 is in one of those 3 squares in... I think it did it again. I think I'm going mad. This is very disconcerting. Anyway, we've got 1. Now there must also, I suppose, be a 6 in here, because it's a true clue, and there's a 6 there. So there's a 6 in one of 2 places. Now, here is a beautiful idea. Let us study this for a bit longer. Because in 3 incorrect clues, there is the number 2. So you can't put 2 in any of those 8 cells. If you do, there will be a correct digit in an incorrect oval, which is against the rules of the puzzle. So 2 has to hide away, sort of shamefaced in the corner of the 1-6 clue. And that took the position of a 1, and that gives me a 6, and we are off to the races all of a sudden. No, I was wondering if I could do 4s, but I've realised I've got a 4 in the box, so I don't actually have to do any more work with 4s. So I've actually got quite a lot here all of a sudden. 2 is in the 3 clue in box 1. I don't think that's worth noting. 1. Oh. Right, okay. Here's something. Oh, my phone is ringing. Oh, I know. I'm going to let that go. Actually, it's always a bit worrying when I get phone calls. So, but I'm enjoying this, and I don't think I have to take that call. So let's look at 1s, because what I'm noticing is that I've got a 1-4 here and a 2-1 there. Now, if I was to put a 1 in either of those 2 squares, both clues would contain a correct digit, which is not possible. You're only allowed to have 1 correct clue in any of these multiple choice questions, so you can't put a 1 in either of those, and that must be a 1, I think. That logic does feel correct, this is really brilliant. This is brilliant because now, by having the 1 here, because you can't have 2 correct clues, now you force both of these clues to be incorrect because they can't have a 1 in them. So now either the 28 clue is correct or the 35 clue is correct. I don't know if we can see which of those is likely. No, I'm not sure. Let's carry on with question 5, shall we? Yes, let us carry on with question 5, because this 1-5 clue has a 5 in it, so it must be correct. Again, let's just double check. That is true, isn't it? Because if this was incorrect, it shouldn't have any of its digits in its surrounding cells, and it does, so it is correct. And therefore I placed the 1 in it as well, which is good. I'm sure that changed. I think I'm going absolutely crazy. But anyway, there's a 1 here now. All of the other clues are incorrect. And actually I could see several of these were incorrect if I looked at it. There's a 20 and a 30 clue here. In fact, and a 25 clue, which couldn't have had a 5 in it. So this middle box is actually, this is like the easy question on the paper. Now, what does that mean? So that means in this box, yes, we use the sort of negative logic again, don't we? So if that foursome can't contain a 2 and this foursome can't contain a 2, where do you put a 2 in the box? You've got to put it in the corner. The 2 keeps hiding itself away in the corner. So there's a 2 in one of those 3 squares. 3 can't be in those cells. So 3 is in that cell or those. Maybe I will notate that. 2s, 5s, 1s. Yeah, okay. 6. Oh, 6. Yeah, 6 is in one of those 2 squares just by Sudoku of all things. 1 has to be in one of those 3 cells. Does this mean we need to move on to question 6? Maybe it does. Every question I do, though, I feel like I'm leaving information on the table. I'm not quite getting the most out of these questions. Now, right. There's a 6 in the box that can't go in the 36 clue, so that must be a liar. What else have we got here? We've got a 30 clue. You can't put a 0 in. How many times do I have to realise that? So now, either the 18... Oh, the 18 clue can't be correct because it can't contain a 1. There we go. There we go. So the 2-4 clue is correct. And there's a 2-4 in the row already. So that's this is nice. Oh, whoopsie. I want to just replace that orange and note that those cells there are now... These 2 are a 2-4 pair because we must put a 2 and a 4 in there. Which means what? That means, that is important. Look, 4 has to go there, which is the same cells I've got a 6 pencil marked in. So this is going to become a 4-6 pair, and now you can't put a 3 in this one. So that becomes a 3. We can get rid of some pencil marks in the bottom of that box. 3 in this box, look, is interesting because you can't put it in the 30 or the 36 clue. So there's a 3 up here, which means there's a 3 down there. It did it again. I'm going crazy. It definitely did it. This is maddening. Right. So these are... that's not 3 then. So this is 7, 8 and 9. Now, do we know any more? The 3, 6. We know things about what? We know things about 8s, maybe. No. Well, 8 is in one of 4 cells, so it's not that great. Okay. Oh, right. I should pay attention to pencil marks. There's a 2 looking down at my 2 and 4, so that's a 2-4 pair. Everything just changed. I swear it did. 4 is now in the 27 clue. 2 is in one of those. That's interesting. 2 is forced into this domino in box 9, which means that 27 clue is a liar. Let's go on to question 7. Now you can see we have done some work on question 7 already. But have we done enough work to know what's what? 2 might be interesting because 2 can't go in the 21 clue and 2 can't go in those cells. So there's a... yeah, there we go. So there's a 2 in the 28 clue. Now, if there's a 2 in the 28 clue, the 28 clue is correct, and that means that the 35 clue is incorrect. Could I have done that earlier? Have I just been really slow about that? Probably. I'm so sorry if I've been slow there. So now there's a 2 in one of those cells in box 1. There now must be an 8 in one of those 3 positions because the 2 and the 8 must be correct. There cannot be a 4 in this 2x2, and combined with this 4 and the one we've identified means the 4 is in one of those cells. So the 4... Yes, so the 4 gets placed in box 1 because we've already worked out the 4 can't go in that oval because that's been lying to us. The 5 is not there. Oh no, the 5 looks got lots of options. I'm sure I'm doing this in the most inefficient way possible by doing the questions in order, but anyway, I'm enjoying it. So let's go on to question 8, which has a 40 clue in it, so that's not true. Immediately, let's rule that out. We've got a 2 here and a 2 here. Ah, so there's a 2 in one of those 3 squares. I can see immediately this can't be a 2. Ah, I can see a second thing, which is sort of appropriate given that this is a point about 2s. This can't be a 2. Because that would be saying that there is a 2 in the 24 clue and simultaneously there's a 2 in the 32 clue, i.e. both clues would contain a correct digit, which is impossible. So that's not 2. But the other thing I've noticed is that if the 2 is here, the 24 clue must be correct. If the 2 is there, the 32 clue is correct. So whichever way we do that, this 16 clue is definitely not correct. And therefore 1 might be getting restricted in this box, which is now, so the 1 is now over on the, it did it again, the 1's now on the right hand side of this, which means the 1 is in one of those 2 squares. It definitely did it then, did it again. The 1 is in one of those 2 cells. Okay, so what does this mean? Is there a way of resolving which of these 2s is correct? Or is there a way of learning something else about what's going on? The 16 clue is incorrect, so there's no 6 in those cells. Don't know. Right, 9. Let's have a look at question 9. So far we've been flying through the exam except for question 2 and question 8. So question 9, which has, well, this 18 and 81, that feels wrong, doesn't it? How does that work? Yeah, okay, well I can definitely tell you this is a lying clue. And the reason this is a lying clue is that if it was a true clue, you'd have to put a 1 and an 8 into those 3 cells. But there's no way of doing that without making putting a 1 or an 8 into one of those 2 cells. And that will create a correct digit in a wrong clue. So, yeah, the only way that this could be correct is if you hide the 1 and the 8 in this cell at the same time with a 1-8 Schrödinger cell. And this cell cannot be 1 and 8 simultaneously, even if we put it in a box and don't know what the correct digit is. So, this is definitely wrong. Now this little one over here I think is interesting now, because if the 81 clue was correct, you'd have to put a 1 in there, and that would simultaneously put a correct digit in the 18 clue. So this cannot be correct, and this all means that that is correct in the corner. So the 4-5 is correct. You can't put a 1 now in any of those 6 cells, or that one, so there's a 1 vertically there. All of them just changed the size again, I'm sure they did. That's not a 1. Well, yeah, where does 1 go in box 3 now? Look, 1 can't go there, can't go there, can't go in the 81 clue because that's been labelled orange. So 1 is vertical there. There, 1 is not here, 1 goes there. 4 in the 45 clue must be on the left hand side of it because we know it must have a 4 in it. So this is now a 1-4 pair in box 3. Which might mean something. Don't know. But the other thing I just noticed actually was to do with 2s in box 9 and box 7, so I might come back to that. I'm just going to pencil mark 5s into the 4-5 thing. Oh, the other thing is, Just as I can't put a 1 in there, I can't put an 8 in there either. So there must be an 8 in that domino because of this given 8, removing it from there. Now, that means what? Oh, this is nice. Yeah, okay, because I've got a 1. Yes, this is a 314 triple. So this is like pi 3.14. There's an 8 in one of those 2 squares, so there's an 8 in one of these 3 squares, but you can't put an 8 in the 81 clue because the 81 clue is a liar. So that's an 8. Oh, I was about to write a 7 in, but the 7 is just... Okay, there's an 8 in one of those by Sudoku. There's a 7 vertically at the top of column 9, which means that... Oh, I don't know if it does mean anything. I think the 7 is in one of 3 places in box 9. It can't go in the 27 clue because that's a liar. Okay, let's go back to what I noticed about 2s. There's a 2 in this domino, and there's a 2 in this domino. So that means we should ask where the 2 goes in row 7, and it's got to go here, because that's the only place it can now go in. Why did Alexa wake up? What did I say then? That was the world. It's almost like I'm in The Shining or something. There are some strange things going on today. Anyway, this is now a 2, which means the 24 clue must be correct, and that means the 32 clue has become incorrect. That means what? So that means that 4 has to be in one of those 4 cells. Ah, this is nice. Yeah, okay. I agree with myself. 4 is in one of those 4 cells, but it's not in that domino because there's a 40 clue. So the 4 must hide there, and that gives us a 1, which seems to give us a 1 over here as well. Everything was changing size then. It definitely was. Okay, now 4. Oh, I'm going to have... Oh, I don't like the look of this actually. Am I going to have a... Oh, maybe it's not such a deadly pattern because of the way this all works in this puzzle. But I'm just suddenly worried about... Ah, no, okay. I might not have a deadly pattern. I was thinking maybe the 49... In my head was 49 was lying because I saw the orange digits in it. But 4 is in one of those 4 cells. It's not necessarily in the same position of the 1s, generating a 1-4 pair. Not necessarily. Okay. So what does that mean? I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue. So... So 6 now in box 8, look, can't go in the 1-6 clue. So 6 has to move to the bottom. Maverick is making a low fly past my window. Apologies if you can hear that. I'm being distracted to the max today, it feels like. What else do we know? Ah, here's a simple point. Where does 3 go? In box 8. It can't go in the 32 clue because that's a liar, and it's only got 1 more cell to go into, so that's a 3. Which means not much, I don't think. Oh, 3 is in one of 3 cells in box 9. I think they all keep changing size. Ah. 3's in one of 2 cells in box, this box up here, box 2. Okay. 6 is now a bit interesting, look. 6 in this box is locked into this domino, and 6 in box 5 is locked into the same 2 columns of the grid. So we've still got to put a 6 somewhere in column 6, and we now know it's not in those 6 cells. So it's in one of those 3 cells, which looks well, it's immediately interesting for the 1-6 clue. The 1-6 clue cannot be correct because the 6 is over the other side of the box. So that's an incorrect clue, which means you can't put 1 in it, so that's not a 1. Which means we put the 1 here, which means that's a 1 and that's a 4, which means that's not a 4. How many? I feel like I've done all the ones. I have done all the ones. I thought I was doing quite well with 1s. How am I doing with 2s? Not so well. But the 2s were the cowardly digits, weren't they, that kept hiding in the corners. So let me just think about this for a second. What do we do now? Have we learnt enough that we can fill in some more digits in the puzzle? We can do what? I've got an 8 pencil marked into that. That can't be an 8. Why have I got an 8 there? I have no idea. That's a 1-8. This 1-8 clue is a liar, so there can't be an 8 there. That must be an 8, I think. 8 is in one of 2 places now in box 4. I've probably done that all over the place. I think it would be a very easy puzzle to make mistakes on like this. Or not mistakes, but just oversights. There's a lot of information, positive and negative, to keep track of. Column 6, I've now got lots of digits. I need 2, 5 and 7. Yeah, I can do this. Right. 2, 5 and 7 in here. But those 2 squares cannot be 5s because the 5 is in the true clue. So it's in one of those 4 cells. So that is just a 2, 7 pair, I think. And that must be the 5 in column 7. So there's a 5 in one of those 3 cells. If that's a 2, 7 pair, that's not a 7. What does that mean? 9 in box 3 can't go in that for 2x2 because this is the true clue. The 3 is the true clue. So 9 is locked into one of those 2 cells. Does absolutely diddly squat. What about row 7 then, where we need 3s, 5s and 6s? Oh, that's not a 4. That's a 3 or a 5. It sees 6 in the column. Everything just changed size then. I tell you it did. That's a 3 or a 6 because the 5 is down here. Okay. What does this mean? Oh, there is a point I've just noticed. 8s. 8s in boxes 4 and 7 are not in column 3. So where are we putting the 8 in column 3? It's going to have to go up here and it can't go in the top cell. So there's an 8 in one of the... Whoa. I didn't mean to press 7 then. 8s. 8s in one of these 2 squares. Right, is that really true? Hang on, this is very strange because now if you look at those 4 squares, there are 4 different digits pencil marked into those 4 squares. 2s, 3s, 7s and 8s. So if we're saying that in box 1 those 4 digits can only go in those 4 squares, this is a quadruple on 2, 3, 7 and 8. I'm going to check that because that seems really surprising, and I'm noticing that 7, I think I removed a 7 pencil mark from there in whatever I just did as well, because otherwise I could have just written a 7 into that cell. So 7 is in this domino, so that seems good logic. 2. Why can't 2 go? Oh, 2 can't go there for that reason. So 2 looks good logic. 3, yes, 3 looks good logic. So 2, 3 and 7. Yeah, so this, I think this is a 2, 3, 7, 8 quadruple. And look, this square in that quadruple is has only one option. So that's a 2, that's a 7, and this must be a 3, 8 pair. And that is rather beautiful. So that's not 3. That's not 2 anymore, which seems to have That seems to be suggesting 2 has to hide away exactly there. Yeah, it does. That's a 2. That's a 9 now. This 3, 8, is that resolved? Don't know. These squares are now 5, 6 and 7. I think I'm going to pencil mark those. That's not 7, because that would imply the 27 clue is correct. Right, and in this box we still need 5, 6 and 9. So that's a 5 or a 6. It can't be a 9, it sees 9. 5, 6, 9 into those squares as well. I'm sure I'm missing so much here. And what I've not managed to do is to actually even answer question 2. Question 2 is the very annoying question that for some reason I can't remember how to solve it. I'm sure you've had those in your exam lives. I remember those with no affection at all. So how do we do question 2? What we've got to do is, we know either the 36 or the 49 is true. Ah, right, there is something I've noticed. Look at those two. So look, we've got a double 3 pencil mark and a double 4 pencil mark. Well, what you can't do is put the 4 and the 3 into those 2 squares, because if you do, the 36 clue is wrong and the 49 clue is wrong. So this square here must be one of those digits. So that's a 3 or a 4. And that doesn't tell us the answer to the question. So six is over here. That's it. Oh, so if the 36 clue was wrong, you'd have to put the 3 and the 6 there. Done it. Right, this is lovely. This is absolutely lovely. Right, so the way to get your head round this is to notice your pencil marks. So if the 36 clue is wrong, our pencil marks are telling us that we have to put a 3 here and we have to put a 6 here. But now look, we've just done that, and the 49 clue, if the 36 clue is wrong, the 49 clue is right. So you've got to put 4 here and 9 here. And now, what are you going to do with 8 in box 2? Answer, nothing. You can't put it in the grid. So that's not going to work. That's lovely. It's absolutely lovely, and it just follows. Really, it was just, I mean, it was so clear once I just thought about whether the 36 could be right or wrong. Now, it's definitely got to be right then, because we know it doesn't work when it's wrong, so it gets the award of being blue. That becomes orange. Now, if that's true, the 3 must go in the 36 clue, which places the 4 as well, and places an 8 and a 3, which means one of those 2 cells is now an 8 in box 2. I was rather hoping this, well, it means that's not a 6, I suppose. The 6 goes into the 36 clue. And the 9 now can't live in the 49 clue anymore, so the 9 goes to the top of the grid, where it removes itself from that square, which places a 9 in box 1. Good grief. Now, 9 bobbins. I don't know what that does. Don't know. Okay, so this square's got to be 5, 6 or 7. And it can't be, oh no, I don't know what it, I was about to say it can't be 5, but I think it maybe can. This is true. I don't know if I can restrict that at all, actually. We know there's a 6 in one of these. Oh no, I'm having a complete shank at the end of the puzzle. Right, let's go. These squares have got to be 7, 8 and 9. We're just going to resort to arch pencil marking to try and get 100% on the SAT. That square's a 7 or an 8. Look, oh, this square's a naked single, in fact. if you look at this row, that square's got to be a 7, 8 or a 9. It can't be a 7 or a 9, so that's an 8. Which would seem to mean that that's an 8. Which means that that's an 8. Great. Here we go. That means this square is a 5 or a 6. Oh, please, come on. Oh, no. How is that not resolved? It seems like that. Oh, it is resolved. It is resolved because there's a 6 in one of those. So there can't be a 6 in there or you'll break the true clue in box 2. So that's a 6 and that's a 5. Which means that's not a 5. That's not a 5. These are 6, 7s and 9s as the numbers all change size as I pencil mark. Oh, where does 4 go in this column? That 4 is giving me a 4 and a 6 over here. Which gives me a 6 at the bottom of the grid. That's got to be a 7, 9 to complete the column. That's got to be a 5 naked single. That 5 is doing some work over there perhaps, but not enough. And some work over here perhaps. But again, I don't think it's doing quite... Oh, this 5 is seeing that square, so that looks like it's got to be a 6 and a 3 and a 5. 3 removes itself from this cell and places itself up there if we trust the pencil marks, and I'm certainly going to do that. So that's a 9 now. This is a 7. That should be a 9. And then we can, what can we do now? What are those squares then? We should just be able to work those out. They're 3, 5. So the 5 must go there, whatever they are. So that's 5, that's 3, that's 7. So this column now, the 8 must go there in the 28 clues. So those two squares have got to be 2 and 3. We can do that. That's a 2 and a 7. That's a 7 and a 9. I've still got to put 9 and 4 in there. Keep going. That's a 4, forced. These squares now have got to be 5 and 8. So that must be the 8, I think. That must be the 5, and that should be something else. A 6. It looks good. Yes, so that's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 5. That's a 7. These squares here are 6 and 9. Ah, this 7's doing it. Look, 7, 9, 9, 6. What a beautiful puzzle. What a beautiful puzzle. And I've solved it. I absolutely love that. And I totally understand why the testers were saying that this is really original. It is. It's genuinely original. And it's a beautiful execution. This idea of... Yeah, and it's just so clever. It thematically hangs together so beautifully. Rocky Row has done some great puzzles on the channel, but that is right up there for me. I loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Let me know what I missed, but be kind, please. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.